Lights go green. Good getaway by Gunnar. Van der Linde tries to go with him on the outside. Others look to try to dart to the inside and gain track position down towards turn one. The first pinch point, side by side for the lead. Van der Linde around the outside at 1, the inside for 2. The BMW just gets ahead, but Gunnar tries to come back at him on the inside at 3. He's way up the curve. Side by side off the corner. The Mercedes AMG will have the inside line up towards the first part of the next long right-hander. Gunnar on the inside. Van der Linde gets run out wide, and Jules Gunnar now finally secures the lead heading into turn 6. He's done it. It's Gunnar ahead of Van der Linde. A really good getaway as they accelerate then down towards 7.
It's been a mega start from Pepper as well, 10th to 5th at the moment. He's having to defend hard from Engel in the Winward Mercedes, and he has just fought that off. We have 3 WRT cars as Engel now going around the outside at 8. That's going to get tasty between those 2 cars fighting for 5th.
You've also got the Max Hesse BMW up into 3rd to cheer the locals. In 4th place, Kobe Powell's Engel versus Pepper, who's hung out to dry a bit there, Jordan, on the outside line, going a little bit deep, round 9 into 10. This is the run down to Curvoni, so it is now Jules Gunnar not only in the lead, but edging away by 3-4 lengths over Van der Linde. Then in 3rd place, you've got Max Hesse, and it's game on for 4th behind them, isn't it now, as this is Arthur Leclerc's view, heading through 13 up to the hairpin at 14.
Green on the inside, Pepper on the outside. Pepper's been on the outside for an eternity, finally stops the run and gets back in. He's lost a couple of places. He got greedy in hindsight, trying to send it round the outside of turn 10 on Engel after a mega start. All the cars looking super loose. Big snaps of oversteer at the moment. Tyre pressure's coming back up. We were sat on the grid for a long time. Yes, ambient is high. Ambient being over 30, track at 52, but the tyres want to be at 90 degrees centigrade.
So Gunnar leads at the end of lap 1 by 0.6 of a second, and tempting fate, I know, but everybody's got through the first lap drama-free as the cars now wriggle their way out of turn 3 there. Number 111 is Arthur Rougier, who's just dropped back behind Alex Arca. Arca leading in gold, silver led by Aurelian Panis, and Charles Awesome Dawson is leading in bronze right now, as that's Consta Lapalainen's Ferrari to the outside of Patrick Niederhauser's Lamborghini. And the Temerario getting all snaky there as they thread their way over the curve at 6. That Porsche, Bastien Bus, the championship leader, has dropped a place. He's worse off than he was on the grid. He's down to 14th. This could be a long hour, relatively speaking, for Bus and Ricardo Feller. Bastien does challenge, then gets up the inside of Consta Lapalainen's Emil Frey Racing Ferrari, but he can't clear him at 8, and he doesn't even stay alongside, has to get back in the draft.
Our second place car from yesterday, our Spa 24-hour winner, this 80 line speed Porsche. Looks like a different car compared to yesterday. Just has no pace. Have they made a setup change? There's a problem in that car, as you can see, one of the AF Course Ferraris going on the big defense. That's Leclerc trying to defend from the Audi of Acker, and Acker's going to sweep round the outside.
Indeed so, Alex Arca then right round the outside, he tries. The Audi has gone well in GT4 trim this weekend. They're still quick in GT3 trim. That didn't work, but a Gold Cup win yesterday. But now look for gold, almost overlapping the McLaren coming back at the Audi. That is Arthur Rougier then attacking Alex Arca. Romain Andriolo's McLaren is not that far behind. Look, there it is, the black and gold car. And Niederhauser is still under attack from Consta Lapalainen as they head up towards the line. And behind Lapalainen is Bastien Bus. A lot can yet shake out of this. Bus in the Porsche, looking like he's got the speed now. He's on the outside line, look, going down towards turn 1. Way up the curve, Bus goes round the outside at 1. That's the inside for 2. He's going to try the Lamborghini as well. Just gets his nose chopped off. But Bastien Bus has got past the Ferrari at least. Good move.
Amazing move at 1, but I actually think the move on the Lambo was possible at 2. He just didn't believe it could happen because no one's ever done it before, but that was an amazing performance. So maybe the Porsche's waking up. Maybe the tyre pressures are coming to him, but we're still a long way down. We're still way outside the top 10, and that's not something we've been saying about that 80 Porsche all season long.
Panis in the meantime in that Mercedes going great guns, but he's also under attack from the Mattia Michelotto VSR Lamborghini. 3 wide nearly coming out of turn 10.
Yeah, these Garage 59 cars got no pace. Remember that Kirchhoffer car got wiped out at Monza, new chassis, and since then it just has not gone well for them, and they are really struggling. They're just about staying ahead of the Silver Cup leader in that camo Merc. Panis looks to the inside. I worry for Kirchhoffer. He's got no pace and everyone's getting frustrated behind. Dawson in the lead of bronze, but dropping back through the overall order. He's not that far ahead of Peter Dempsey's Ziggo Sport Tempesta Porsche. As you look then at Aurelian Panis leading in silver, but it's Jules Gunnar leading pro, goes over the line. So Gunnar leads the way. So early, that car has been loaded up around the apex, and I would suggest Boost realised that he couldn't have done it the lap before, has tried to replicate it, and it has not gone cleanly.
And Patrick Niederhauser rejoins, but it may well be that there is a penalty brewing for the Porsche. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Yeah, a real lazy move from Boost there. He's on the apex curb, and those big yellow sausage curbs are going to lift the front up. So we're on board now with the aggressor. This is where we could have made the move last lap. And look, we're nowhere near along halfway. At best, it's going to be a 5-10 second penalty in the pits. Worst case drive-through.
There's your leader, Gunol, van der Linde second. It is Max Hesse back with them in third place. But as I say, Maro Engel is up into fourth, and Kobe Pauwels, who was in fourth, has dropped back into 12, having had a moment.
Yeah, and the BMWs are able to pull away from this yellow Mercedes of Engel, then the Red Bull Ferrari from Emil Frey, then Pepper, then Leclerc.
Charles Dawson, bronze leader, drive-through, causing a collision at turn 6. Was it Dawson that got into that Ferrari and turned it round? But 222 Mercedes AMG, there it is. Charles Dawson being given a drive-through, and Kobe Pauwels has not had a moment. He's got a problem, and he's limping into the pit lane, I'm afraid to say, after that great qualifying effort.
Yeah, it's got no drive at all, does it? It looked like it was just rolling to a stop, and that's going to be pretty galling for the Com2U team as we see the BMW attacking now the Ferrari into turn 8. So hard to get this move done cleanly at the moment. A-OK, slight bit of rubbing. Ferrari will keep the position.
That's Matthias Zagazzetta versus David Pittard. David, who is very much a Nordschleife expert, so very flat circuit by his standards. This dives up the inside, makes the move, beautifully done. Much underrated driver is David Pittard, but he is a very, very good peddler indeed. Winner of the Nürburgring 24 Hours, made that decision a few years ago to, if you like, concentrate on Nordschleife racing. He's had a long link with the Valkenhorst team, and very much a guy you want in your corner, whether it's as a driver or a driver coach. Engel, though, now released, absolutely flying, isn't he? He's going to be up with the top 3 before long. Last lap through, Max Hesse did the fastest lap of the race, but I think Engel could be on for the fastest lap of the race this time around.
He gobbled him up as we have a battle here between Pepper and Ben Green. Should go the way of the BMW, and he gets the drive. That would be interesting to see how he got the overlap so easily down the back straight. Oh.
But Pepper is still having to fight, and he leans there on Ben Green as they come through the corner. So Jordan Pepper grinds up the inside of the Ferrari, forces Ben Green over another set of curbs. That gets the Ferraris together, because now Arthur Leclerc wants to join in as well. Ben Green fending him off, but Jordan Pepper having gone through. That was a kind of assault from Pepper, but anyway, it's worked for him. Jordan clear as he comes up to the line in 5th place.
Yeah, season move there from Pepper. It was just on the borderline of being fair. He eased Green off the track. I was surprised how well Ben Green did well. As he got damaged, that car looked leery under braking. Maybe just some pickup on the tyres where he's not been in contact with the racing surface for a few hundred metres. But yeah, I think Pepper will get away with that one, but Ben Green won't be happy as now the battle goes to the cars behind. And anyone that stays behind, and track position is so important. Expect most cars to box as early as they can.
There is Max Hesse heading up towards the line. So Jules Gounon leads the way, but he's got this omnipresent shadow of Kelvin van der Linde behind him. Hesse is another 9/10 of a second back, and it's still Max that has done the fastest lap of the race, which therefore means that Valentino Rossi definitely has a chance going into that second stint, but he's going to be mixing it with the big boys, isn't he? Some big GT3 names around him. Jordan Pepper, don't forget, is going to give that car over to Aymeric Cordial for the second part of the race, and he's chasing after Maro Engel, who hasn't quite caught the BMWs. It looked as though he was going to when he was released, but he sort of plateaued a bit as Maro in 4th spot, ready for Lucas Auer to do stint 2. Work the tyres that little bit harder. The BMWs just seem to be happier, more stable, almost lazy in the way they attack the circuit.
Yeah, they generate their lap time in a straight line, which doesn't take anything out of the tyres, so for sure that BMW will be easier on that.
And there, the two Butson VDS Porsches running together. Dorian Boccolacci just getting past Robin Knudsen, 2 ahead of 10. Number 10 has been the car that's had all those dramas hitherto, but it got through Spa and finished, and it's done well this weekend as well. But good to see the two cars together, and for Mark van der Straten, the two Porsches heading up towards the line. Butson VDS making the switch to Porsche for this season, and Dorian Boccolacci in Pro, being chased by the Gold Cup car of Robin Knudsen. Through they go, still trying to chip their way up the order. Tough weekend, 23rd and 24th, and the new livery aboard that number 10 car, almost Red Bull-esque, isn't it? But that's very definitely a Red Bull livery, and it's Jules Gounon, who this time looks a little bit further ahead of van der Linde.
Yeah, Sector 1 was quicker. Sector 2 was really Gounon's sector, wasn't it, in qualifying? Do you remember we went on board and we were able to see why it was so quick? It was really the ability to turn into the corner late, to rotate the car and to get a good exit. And normally that's what goes away from you in the race. The front tyre starts to lose grip, you lose rotation, you end up turning in earlier, narrowing the corner off because you're fearful of going in wide. But the Mercedes just looks so hooked up into these ever-tightening radius of corners here at 13 into 14. He can really get the car where he wants, and the speed there from AWS showing us what cars are wearing.
Going to be the benchmark lap for many of them, I think, to come in, as this is Darren Lung's moment. It's Dustin Blattner ahead. This is why he's got the drive-through.
It's actually a bit harsh, that, for me, because Blattner leaves the door open because he's trying to go around the outside of the Porsche, and Darren fills that space, and then Blattner decides, I want to cut back. Yeah, I think it's on a little bit of the harsh side. Of course, Darren makes the contact, but for me, Blattner's closing the door, and Darren was semi there already. The cut is obviously not as strong as the fear of falling into traffic, but traffic will now start to come out in front of our leaders. So this is going to have to be a fluid state of when to box. Here is our leader. We have 3 silver cars on their outlap on the next straight, and that could start to hurt these cars.
Could indeed. Let's have a listen in to Calvin van der Linde's radio this time.
Okay, but all the silver and bronze are stopping right now, so we might have traffic on the next lap. 2 more laps.
So 2 more laps, they're saying, and it's on lap 18 now, so that's another one going for the 20-lap mark, isn't it? Charles Weert's getting ready. So 20 laps is going to be roughly the halfway point as van der Linde comes out of 10.
If you know you're going to get traffic, why wouldn't you box earlier? That's what I'm surprised the engineers seem adamant on a run length. And again, engineers now don't even sit on the pit wall. They just stare at their laptops looking at the numbers, and sometimes the drivers have to wake them up with real-world problems. And that could be a real-world problem, as both of these cars, I think, will get that Valkenhurst Aston Martin in the next few laps.
WRT trying to avoid stacking the BMWs, Bryn Lucas tells us from the pit lane, so they don't want 32 and 46 in together. Max Hesse, though, has fallen a long way back on this lap, and the first sector lost him 2/10, the second sector another 3/10. So has Hesse got a problem? Is this the tyres going off? But look at the gap now. He is a rather distant third. On that lap, he's lost 2.7 seconds against van der Linde.
Yeah, he's really been dropping time. Line-wise, looks okay. Couldn't hear anything wrong with the motor in that BMW either.
And van der Linde now is going to have a go for the lead before he boxes, isn't he? Because now, with effectively 2 laps to go before he has to pit, van der Linde closer than ever to Jules Gounon's Mercedes. Maybe because he doesn't have to think about the BM behind anymore, but most definitely that gap has come down. And Max Hesse carrying on in 3rd place, but with no obvious reason as to why he's fallen back like that.
No, really not. And tyres starting to get painful. We're still at high track temps here. Relatively low tyre wear here because it's such a smooth and flat surface. There's our silver leader. You can see the Mercedes at the front of that shot. So they're going to get a nice clean exit, they'll be hoping, and they can get all 4 tyres changed just with 2 mechanics and 1 wheel gun in around 19 seconds.
So they're going through Calvin van der Linde as you see the AF Corsa pit cycle going through. Again, team with lots of cars trying to avoid stacking. We've had the silver leading Mercedes rejoin now with Anthony Bartone at the wheel of it, and Gounon with another lap to go at the end of this, assuming they're not going to change the plan. They know that other teams can listen in just like we can, so maybe there's a hint of some duff information, but no, it'll be 20 laps for Gounon, 20 laps for van der Linde as well, and Max Hesse in 3rd.
No engine, no engine, no engine, go. And the driver has an automatic start, so it's not the driver's fault, it's just the nature of the car, whereas the BMW ahead, bang, gone. Just to put some perspective, yes, there was 3 seconds different in this pit stop, but that 2C's car was still the 10th quickest pit stop out of everyone. Yeah. So it wasn't that was slow. It was WRT with the fastest out of everyone on the 32. The 3 cars pit stop was quicker than the 46 WRT's pit stop. Yeah. So it wasn't bad. It was just this car's was phenomenal.
But what has also happened is this BMW has been able to get switched on again on this new set of tyres better than the Mercedes, because look at the gap now. That is way, way greater than it was when the cars were going down the pit lane. So the margin between Weert and Honkadea is now 4 seconds, and it was about 4 lengths when they dropped down and left the pit lane. So Charles Weert has been able to push on much more readily. However, new fastest lap of the race to Lucas Auer, who is in 4th place. Ferrari stationary over at turn 8. Look, yellow flag zone. Mark of a pro, that from Jules Gounon. Yes, the mechanics weren't as quick as the WRT, but he's found every positive in there, praising them for their efforts, making the point. First season for them as a Verstappen team running that car. 2Cs does know about Mercedes from British GT, but finding the positives rather than throwing the mechanics under the bus. Now, that is the Lapalainen and Cairoli Ferrari that has ground to a halt. Race control perhaps giving it half a minute or so to see whether it can power back up, but otherwise we could be heading for a full course yellow here.
Yeah, there's no power, isn't it? The only way they're going to do that out of safety is get the Cairoli backwards out of there. Some gradient maybe can help him, but seems like he's trying to power cycle it. And yeah, like I said, 2Cs didn't do a bad job. It was a good pit stop. They're 10th out of everyone.
Yeah.
Attention all teams, full course yellow in 20 seconds.
As predicted, full course yellow is on the cards. The voice of Niels Vitic, the race director, is what you can hear. And the 20-second mark, then a 10-second count. And very shortly, everybody will slow to that delta speed because full course yellow is coming.
3, 2, 1, full course yellow, full course yellow.
And it's all delivered, as ever, with authority but calm, isn't it? So no panic, but we're going full course yellow. The teams get the countdown, the cars all slow, and maybe this can just be a full course yellow rather than needing to go safety car, because if they can quickly get a recovery vehicle to that, there it is, and hoik it out of the way, it shouldn't take long. So this will be monitored carefully by race control.
Yeah, it's quite usual now, isn't it, where the car has no power but still rolls. Gone are the days where you get total gearbox failure and the whole drivetrain is locked. But this will be a worry for the 32 if it does go to safety car.
That is being retrieved very swiftly. Good work by the intervention crew there to tow that Ferrari behind the orange tyre stack. That means there's a gap, so if you see anything orange, that's the indication for drivers to aim for it, because there's a gap the other side, get the car to safety, and that means the track is pretty much clear, so we might be able to go back to green.
Attention all teams, full course yellow ending on short notice.
And there you go, no safety car needed, so a full course yellow period only.
4, 3, 2, 1, green flag, green flag.
Green flag wave, then we're back racing. This is where you see who's better on their toes. Doesn't matter whether you're at the timing line or not, you just go when you hear green.
Yeah, it can be difficult if you're in the middle of the corner, because suddenly you've never done that before. So you have to just kind of go with a bit of guesswork as the McLaren all up on the curb. McLaren doesn't ride the curb as well as the BMW. We were talking about that earlier. McLaren much stiffer. You can see how much it unsettles the car every time James Kell is hitting that curb.
He's dropped back as well. That car was second in goal. It's now fourth. And the one that's come into the mix is Tom Fleming, who's taken over from Louis Pret in the Garage 59, number 58 entry. And he's up to second, but it's still the Pereira Arca Audi ahead. Dylan Pereira now behind the wheel of that car with 19 minutes to go. That is all as the cars go down towards turn 8. Wirtz to Hunkadea is now 10 seconds. That, I think, is because of where the full course yellow was activated relative to Danny's track position. But even so, Charles Wirtz now looks impregnable. And to do the double, that's quite something.
It really is, isn't it? And no mean feat. And it looked like Gounon had the pace, didn't he? But Junkadea, maybe they didn't have another set of new tyres for him, so he's had to go on some scrubbed. And this is always a hard bit in motorsport. As a driver, you're always worried about where your pace is at, but there's so many external influences that sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture. But the bigger picture at the moment for our race leader is this looking very comfortable for them.
So there's number 32 then, Charles Wirtz, now at the wheel of the car, having taken over from Kelvin van der Linde, and he's about to seemingly become the most winning driver in the GT World Challenge Europe Sprint Cup. He yesterday equalled Dries van Thor's record of 19, but it could be 20, couldn't it, within the next 20 minutes for Charles Wirtz to put himself into the record books as the most successful driver in terms of race wins. He's also, of course, been a regular champion in sprint, as well as overall, as well as IGTC. And the gap now coming back down to 3.6 seconds now that we're back under green flags over Danny Hunkadea.
There is the 31 car trying to get over the back of the Aston Martin, try and get the run on them.
Amrit Cordial in 31 BMW taking over from Jordan Pepper, and that car is in 9th place. Tucked up behind, look, is Tom Fleming, as over the line there goes the silver Audi. That is Dylan Pereira leading gold, and that McLaren on the lights is the one that's second in gold. Ignore the Aston Martin with respect to it, because that's not on the lead lap, so that's slightly out of sequence, that car. The best of the Astons, in fact, Jamie Day, 19th place overall right now, as the race has 13 minutes to go. Lead gap is 3 seconds. Another new fastest lap done last time by Lucas Auer, who is chipping away to get up with Valentino Rossi.
Gap down to 3.6, so 1.4 taken out over the last 2 laps for him. Fleming looking in the mood to try and get past Cordial and try and do something about the Audi leading that gold class. Fleming has been in a good run of form, hasn't he? Super fast at Spa, and I know manufacturers starting to look at him. Matt Griffin manages the young Brit in Fleming, and I know they're going to be some hot property over the next few years.
So to the inside line goes Tom Fleming. It was here a couple of years ago when he was in a Ferrari. He had his sizable accident coming out of the pit lane and going straight on with a failure up at turn 4, and did himself quite a bit of harm in that, but it's good to have him full recovery, back to full speed, and then chasing after the Amaury Cordial BMW for 9th overall. But what Fleming wants is that Gold Cup win, and he's edging closer all the time with 12.5 minutes still on the clock. The lead gap is coming down, down last time to 2.8 seconds. So Honkadea is having a go. Charles Weerts may well argue, well, I'm just managing this. I don't need to stress the tyres, and I don't need to pick up any track limit offences. There's one warning to 32. There are 2 on the Honkadea Mercedes AMG. So I think Charles Weerts is driving within himself here just to make sure that he gets home safely.
Yeah, just trying to maybe bait Honkadea into chasing him, doing a few more track limits, and ultimately making his life easier. Maybe even trying to get a penalty for Honkadea so Rossi can jump him there as well. Still at the moment, WRT from 2C's Verstappen.com car, then the 46 of Rossi. Yeah, it really is Rossi giving it everything and more. We now look at the focus. He's got one finger ready on the upshift, one finger ready on the downshift, just down the single gear into 16. You see him leaning into the corner. I wonder if that's an old motorbike habit of trying to get the car to roll in for him. We've got double the amount of tyres, so it doesn't work quite as well. Now into 1, focus, and his vision will go left early into turn 2, and now to the right. He'll lift his head over. He'll try and spot the apex, full throttle through here. You can see the G-force in these cars. Yes, they might look like road cars, but these are now full-blown race cars, over 500 horsepower, full slick tyres, and they're pulling some serious G-force through these long sweeping corners here at Misano.
Rossi on his way out of the first sector then through turn 6. Lead gap down a little bit more. Personal best lap by Honkadea as he continues to push. Getting a replay here of the move coming from Tom Fleming up the inside of Amaury Cordial. Nicely done into turn 10.
Yeah, super clean, wasn't it? Fair play to Cordial. I'm surprised he didn't close the door a little bit more. I feel maybe he realised that Fleming's just got so much pace and it was going to happen. He'd rather let that move happen cleanly. Different classes, so maybe Cordial just happy to stay inside the top 10. Now Fleming can go after that Audi in front of him for the gold class win.
So Fleming through turn 8, and we'll see at the end of this lap what the real gap is. Dylan Pereira versus Tom Fleming. It was 2.7 seconds once he'd made that move, but now he's had a clear lap. Let's have another look. This, meanwhile, is what's going on as far as the race lead is concerned. This was 2.7 seconds last time. Honkadea leaving nothing on the table, is he, as he comes out of 16 over the timing line. 2.7 becomes now 2.9, in fact, because on that lap, Weerts does his best lap of the race. Another 8.5 minutes just over of the race before the checkered flag. It goes out, of course, the first time the leader crosses the line once the hour is up. Contact there, that was Christopher Haase getting into the back of Guillaume Oliveira. Turns around the Optimum McLaren. That is very unlike Christopher Haase, but that little incident then, battle for 16th, 17th and 18th. Lismon had got ahead of Oliveira, and then he gets turned around by the Audi.
Yeah, it was similar to the Blackner-Lung one for me, in terms of Haas was there and Oliveira is trying to cut back and was unsure of Haas's location. An awkward one there. Let's have another look. So Oliveira is trying to go around the outside and Haas is just there. That makes it look very guilty on Haas. If we had a Haas on board, I honestly think he's just there. Where does he expect to go? Is there damage on the Optimum McLaren? And that's going to be a hard one. Christopher Haas, I've been teammates with him in an Optimum Audi, believe it or not, and that isn't a Christopher Haas style move. So it'd be interesting to see where race control see that one. Yeah, that Aston Martin had the most beautiful rotation at turn 8. If you want an illustration of rotating a car in Apex, that Aston Martin has really come on nicely for Valkenhurst. They've seemed to have got on top of that car ever so slightly more this weekend than it seemed at others. Hopefully that's going to be a bit of a theme for that Silver Class 34 Aston Martin.
As it turns now up through the hairpin at 14. We're in the last minutes of the race then, and it could yet change for third. I think they're going to be able to squeeze another lap out of this just, and that's going to be good news for Auer and bad news for Rossi. He would like the leader to back off and therefore trigger the checkered flag this time, but you can see the pressure that Valentino Rossi is under, and I think Lucas Auer is going to make the move coming out of the corner. Let's see. Accelerating now down that back part of the circuit, heading towards the kink at Curvoni. Auer Auer is alongside. He's going to get through surely this time on the inside line. Yes, he does. Lucas Auer goes through into third place. The Mercedes AMG up the inside, place gained, and that was a really, really good move by Lucas Auer. And he's done that with a lap to go. But he goes wide and Rossi fights back. Valentino Rossi not giving up here.
No, really good move, and they're going to go side by side all the way around 15. Rossi now has to back out of that one. Really good driving from Lucas Auer. Got the drive, got in the side draft, and then interestingly, as soon as he got the run, he then popped away to make sure that Rossi didn't get it back. Leaders on the final lap. We squeezed another lap in by 9 seconds.
Christopher Haase drive through, causing a collision. Perhaps not surprising given what we saw. So Lucas Auer for the podium again. You're a brave man to get past Valentino Rossi with just over a lap to go on his home soil. But anyway, Lucas Auer is not caring whether he gets cheered on the podium or not, but he made that move and it was a good move. It was a brave move and it worked. And Valentino Rossi had been dropping into his clutches. Meanwhile, the gap in gold is down to 2 seconds, but I think Dylan Pereira is going to be able to do the double for Attempto here as you look at Auer for third. But another epic effort by this team. Charles Weerts heading for a record-breaking 20th win.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal weekend for them, and Weerts has had some really strong laps in this weekend, and that's why this 32 has always been at the sharp end.
So for Kelvin van der Linde, Charles Weerts will bring it home, and it's going to be a very popular result for Vincent Voss's team, that is for sure, and a part of GT World Europe history made. A 20th Sprint Cup win. Driver, engineers, just about everybody from the garage heads to the pit wall to cheer Charles Weerts home. There. Second is going to be a frustrated Jules Gounon with Danny Hunkerdee 3 seconds back. Checkered flag awaits. It is the 4th race of the season and a 20th Sprint Cup win for Charles Weerts. He wins at Misano. 2 out of 2 for van der Linde and Weerts here in the Italian sunshine. Second to Hunkerdee and Gounon, and it's going to be Lucas Auer and Maro Engel for third. Valentino Rossi is set for 4th with the help of Max Hesse, and then Thierry Vermeulen and Ben Green 5th. Thomas Neubauer and Arthur Leclerc for 6th place. A win for Charles Weerts and Kelvin van der Linde from Danny Hunkerdee and Jules Gounon. Lucas Auer and Maro Engel third, with the top 6 completed by Valentino Rossi, Max Hesse's BMW, and the Ferraris of Thierry Vermeulen and Ben Green, and then Thomas Neubauer and Arthur Leclerc. 8th, the winning Gold Cup car, Dylan Pereira, Alex Arca. 13th, your winning silvers, Anthony Bartone and Aurelien Panis. And then a little bit further down the pecking order, the winners of bronze, and that is Marvin Dienst and Renat Salikov in the Winward Racing Mercedes AMG, a car that was second in class yesterday, but a class winner, 24th overall today. So those winning drivers to make their way shortly up to the podiums, plural, because as ever, there will be one for each of the categories. And as ever, 1 or 2 hard luck stories, including that number 7 Aston Martin. We got very excited about Kirby Powell's excellent job in qualifying, but it was a very early retirement, sad to say. And to Charles Weerts, now the most successful driver in Sprint Cup with that excellent effort, a 20th career win. Drivers all being encouraged to huddle together for the photographs. And once that is done, then the champagne can be liberally sprayed. So, 2 wins and the championship lead. Not a bad weekend's work, is it? For Charles Weerts and Kelvin van der Linde for Team WRT.